Welcome to Video Game Book Club, the show where we pick, we play, and we discuss a video game each and every month. I'm your host, JP Gomez, and with me, always, your co-host is Benjamin, the tizzlist of all the tubes. Ben, how you doing, my man?
I'm okay. It's we just got past the holidays. Everybody, has been hopefully spending a lot of time with family, hopefully having some nice relaxation, maybe a little time off work, which is usually my favorite time of year. It's like the absolute best in my opinion. This year for me, the holidays have been a little difficult, unfortunately. I have had a few losses in my family, both my, immediate nuclear family and also my kind of extended family. So it's been a lot. It's been a really, really hard few weeks for me. But in the midst of all that, it's been so huge for me having the VGBC family who doesn't even know that I've been struggling with anything. But has just been like such a great outlet for me, such a great distraction, something to take my mind off things and just chat, just, shoot the breeze, talk about the games we're playing. It's been awesome. So just a thank you to the community. Again, they don't even know it, but, it's been a really big help for me. And I am so ready to move past those things and to start the new year off right and just keep this community and keep this train going.
I completely agree. Ben, I love you, dude. You are, it's not a joke. I love you, dude. You are my best friend. And, this is a reminder for everyone that it's really important to enjoy those moments that you have with all of your friends and family. And
100%.
Every time you get a chance to hug your loved ones, do it a little bit tighter,
Yeah. Tell someone you love them today. For no reason. Just do it.
Call someone and tell them. Okay, so Video Game Book Club has started.
Here goes JP crying again.
I'm such a crier, dude. I'm such a crier. And I just saw you, we were able to spend one morning together, maybe one morning plus together. And I don't know, my man. I missed you so much, and I hadn't seen you in like a year. So yeah, dude, I love you, brother. Okay,
you too, buddy.
It was in Video Game Book Club. If you're joining us and you don't know us, we have our Video Game Book Club community, and we pick a video game each and every month that we play to completion, and then we discuss it here in this podcast format, and we answer questions that other community has sent to us via our Discord. And it was my turn to pick a video game, and I picked an indie darling, I think, of the 2025 season of games, which is Pipistrello and the Cursed Yoyo. And my first question, Ben, is did you know anything about this game before I picked it?
I really didn't. I think people had maybe mentioned it a few times in the VGBC Discord. But I really had no idea. Like when it released, it kind of missed me totally just because I guess I'm not tapped into that scene. But I really didn't. So I was really going in totally blind to it, 100% blind.
I had like 2 or 3 years ago, I played a game called Dodgeball Academia. It was a really small indie game. That was okay. I give it like a 7 out of 10. I mean, I liked it. Like it's more like this is a, heart loves it. Brain is like, it's okay. And it's from Pocket Trap Studios, which is a Brazilian studio. And they came out with Pipistrello and the Cursed Yoyo. So I was familiar with their game, but it wasn't until I was listening to a podcast. It's called The Besties. Y'all should check it out. They're actually really good. And one of them was talking about playing Pipistrello and the Cursed Yoyo. And they were like, this is a really good game. It is an old school GBA style, The Legend of Zelda kind of like Minish Cap style game. And it's really good, So I was like, hell yeah. I mean, that's all I need to know. This particular person in the Besties is like my guy. Every game that he says that he likes, I like, So I wrote it down really quickly. And I think I almost picked it in maybe like, I don't know when it was my time. Maybe like September or something was my time. to pick the game, but I didn't. I think I went with Rain. No, you picked Rain World. I don't know. I went with something else. But then I came back and I was like, no, dude, Pipistrello was actually nominated for Best Indie Game of the Year. So I was like, dude, we have to play it. Like, we have to try it.
For sure.
Ben, why don't you tell me then? I kind of give you half of the answer, but what is Pipistrello and the Cursed Yoyo?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very unique game. It is, like you said, very old school. Very when you boot up the game, the developers do this hilarious thing where they bring up like a 3D model of an old school Game Boy, and it like is kind of floating in 3-dimensional space, and every time you press a button, the button on the Game Boy presses. It's such a funny thing, and I feel like it lets you know right away what the developers are trying to do.
Yeah,
they're trying to make a Game Boy game using all of the modern stuff, all of the modern things and modern technologies and gameplay aesthetics and stuff that they can fit in. But they're making a Game Boy game, and they're going to do it to the absolute nth degree. And that's exactly what they did. So it is this super old school, Legend of Zelda Game Boy Advance inspired game with our protagonist Pipit, the Pipistrello clan. He's got every protagonist in these games has kind of their signature abilities, and for Pipit it is of course the yo-yo. So you read the title of Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo. Sorry, I'm so all over the place.
You're
right now.
Good, brother.
And yeah, you read the title and you're like, what could this possibly be? But it's exactly what it sounds like. You're Pipit, you've got your yo-yo, and it's cursed. So that's what it is.
That's all you need to know, folks. Actually, we're done here. Thank you very much. We'll see you on the next one. No, I'm kidding. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you the premise of the game. And it's kind of like weird. So, just stick with me, okay? You are Pipit, like Ben said. You're like a humanoid bat. You're not really like a bat. You look more like a kid in bat form with big ears. And you are on your way to your aunt's mansion. And your aunt is basically your sugar mama. But that's kind of weird, actually. Your sugar aunt, I guess. And she basically is this like corporate overlord of the land that controls the energy grid of everything. And basically, you're coming back from a yo-yo tournament. You're actually like really terrible at yo-yo. You got like 400th place in your yo-yo tournament, which is a really funny kind of side thing that they said. And your aunt basically just like gives you an allowance every month for you to be able to enjoy your yo-yo hobbies to the best of your ability, I guess. And your abilities are really bad. Anyways, you go home. You probably need some money, or it's time to visit the aunt. And so you go. But oh my God, the same night that you go visit your aunt, something happens. Madame Pipistrello, who is your aunt, is being ambushed by 4 different corporate overlords of the land that each have their own kind of like company or organization that they're like, trying to scam people with. And Madame Pipistrello had kind of like developed a new energy system called a mega battery that instead of being powered by electricity or whatever, is powered by souls. And if you trap a soul in the mega battery, then it'll give you literally unlimited energy for all times. And so these 4 corporate overlords were like, oh, we can overthrow the mega overlord, Madame Pipistrello, and by putting her soul into these batteries, and then we will become the kings of the land, basically. Well, Pipit's there, and Pipit's like, that's probably not a good idea. So he throws his yo-yo in the middle of this kind of like transfer stream that they're releasing, like a beam of light that they shoot towards Madame Pipistrello. And her soul ends up being split into 5 pieces. 1 piece goes into each of the mega batteries, and the 5th piece gets stuck inside Pipit's yo-yo. And so Pipit's yo-yo is cursed by your aunt. And, she can speak and stuff. So she's like sentient in the yo-yo, which is hilarious. And basically the aunt is like, dude, if you want to keep your stupid yo-yo hobbies going, then please put me back together. Because Pipit was kind of like, I kind of like, I'm good. Like, I kind of don't want to go on this quest. And she's like, you're so
Right.
dumb. I'm your aunt. Please help me. And so, that's kind of how the game starts. You immediately go into this like sewage area where like they introduce you to the main mechanics of the game. You can jump,
Yes.
you can hit, and then can you dodge? I forgot already. No, you
mean,
can just jump. The jump is like a dodge.
And it gives
I
you
don't
a
know
few
why.
iframes,
Yeah. It gives you a couple iframes. You can jump and you can hit, and then you get your first like yo-yo ability, where your aunt discovers that maybe because she has like, I don't know, special powers, you can throw the yo-yo, and the yo-yo itself kind of disconnects from your string, and it helps you start solving puzzles because the game is super, super puzzle heavy. But that's the premise. Have you heard it before? No. It's kind of like cuckoo, honestly. And also, you're not like a good person. Like, Pipit's not like a great person. Madame Pipistrello is definitely not a good person. And the four villains that you're trying to get are definitely really bad people too. So
right. Yeah, it's like, who are we supposed to be pulling for here? Like, are we pulling for, there's this, during like the early game, this kind of area that we're in right now, like it's set up to where, your aunt is this mega corporate overlord monopoly person, right? She's the only game in town. If you want energy, there's no other option. So it's like, but we're on her side, and we're not, it feels like we're not supposed to be on her side.
No.
But we also know, like, I guess we don't really know yet, but we kind of have a feeling that the other guys also aren't good. And like you said, Pippet is just kind of this ne'er-do-well. Like, he's just kind of coasting off his family fortunes, just doing his little yo-yo stuff that he's not even good at. Like, it's
really bad.
It's just like, who are we pulling for here?
Yeah.
It's weird. And when I was playing it, I was like, how is this going to progress? Like, how do we spin this?
Yeah.
Right?
Like, gameplay wise, dude, God, you're so cracked with that. I was gonna say yo-yo wise, gameplay wise, that's where like the gameplay is where the kind of comparisons with The Legend of Zelda Minish Cap is kind of where it stops, because story-wise, you're not a noble dude with a noble cause to defeat, like, the evil of the land. I mean, you kind of are defeating some sort of form of evil, but you're also evil, kind of, But of course, what do we start thinking? Like, there's going to be a resolution. So you think, okay, the resolution is probably at the end of the game, Madame Pipistrello will become good. And that's kind of like the only thing that you're striving for. But the game is so good. Like, it's so fun to play. Like, the movement is so crisp. The jumping is crisp. You start getting all these abilities that make combat feel really good. You start getting all these abilities that let you solve different puzzles, because there's so many puzzles in this game. And basically, every single room that you walk into has secrets. Every single room that you walk into has a door or a manhole that will lead you to a different location for you to discover something. And it feels really, really good that you have all of that. But you get out of this like tutorial area, and basically the early game is, hey, Madame Pipistrello is like, yo, you have a map of the city. Obviously, you haven't uncovered any location, so it's like blank. But I'm pretty sure that one mega battery is here and the other mega battery is there. And so now you have your first two locations. And the first location, one mega battery, is really close to you. It's like just west of you. And the other one is like, not super far away, but it's like, okay, it's like 4 map rectangles to the east of you. So you're, probably 99% of the people were like, okay, let's just go get the first one. And you go west, which is, I'm pretty sure, what you did.
Mm-hmm. That is what I did. Yeah, I did go left or west, I guess. And so this is kind of this is the setup of the early game, right? We know we need 4 batteries. We know we can only access 2 right now. And you just kind of set off. And I think the game does a really good job. Like you said, the game it is very much a Metroidvania in the way that it introduces new movement abilities and new kind of general abilities. But I think the game does a really good job setting it up to where every puzzle has multiple solutions, or maybe not every puzzle, but most puzzles have multiple solutions. So like, for example, the West dungeon gives you one movement ability. and the east dungeon gives you another movement ability. But the game sets it up to where if you have the movement ability from one, you can kind of traverse the other in the same way before you get it, or vice versa. You can there's flexibility in the way you go about it, which is really fun.
Super flexible. And I think that puzzle thing is really important. There's some puzzles here, like there's a lot of geometry in this game because you can toss your yo-yo forward. You can't really move it in any way. Like you only have your forward directions. You can't even hit diagonally. But they put these like diagonal or like triangle, I guess, pieces on the floor, like objects that you can bounce your yo-yo off. But sometimes there's like 30 of them in a row, and you throw your yo-yo and it hits like kind of like you play pinball. It hits all the little spring-loaded objects all the way, and you can retrieve an item. But like Ben mentioned, there's actually a lot of different ways that you can solve a puzzle. And I streamed the whole game, and a lot of the puzzles, people were like, man, I didn't solve that way at all, you know? Or like, oh, that puzzle took me so long, and you just like did it in 2 seconds, or vice versa. I would take like an hour on a puzzle and someone else did it so quickly, because sometimes all you have to do is throw your yo-yo. Sometimes I wouldn't even overthink it. I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to throw my yo-yo and see what happens. And then it would kind of work, you know?
There was times in the game where I was legitimately hard stuck. Like I had no idea what to do. And the answer was literally just throw the yo-yo. No. And it's like because the game gives you so many different options. Your toolbox is so big in this game that you outthink yourself. You mess yourself up trying to think of all these complex solutions when sometimes you just got to throw it.
Ben, I literally, there's a puzzle where there's these like wooden boxes floating in the air. And obviously you can't float in the air. You have to kind of hit the yo-yo or like throw your yo-yo with good timing so that you can bounce yourself off the walls, off the wooden boxes, and finally get into this platform that was holding a rose container. Rose petal, piece of a rose container. I can't remember. But you know, if you play The Legend of Zelda, it's a piece of a heart piece, basically. Mm-hmm. And dude, I was stuck in this puzzle for 30 minutes. So much so that I told Chad, I was like, listen, guys, I'm just going to look it up. Like, I literally don't know how to do this. 30 minutes is way too long. Like, we got to move on, you know? So I looked it up, and I couldn't follow the instructions of this, like, wiki walkthrough webpage. It was so confusing. It was like, do this, do that, do this, go left, right, bounce off of here, and then you can make it. And I was like, what the hell? So then I was like, this makes no sense. And then I solved it by throwing my yo-yo into the abyss, because I had that ability at that point, and then slinging myself to the yo-yo and doing like 2 wall jumps. And then I got there. Like, it's so easy and so quick. And like this wiki was like, it was like a 15-step instruction on how to get there. So eventually I did get it, but it was just so funny how even on the wikis, they just can't. It's just, there's like 10 different ways of solving something. It's so fun.
Yeah. And it honestly, like you mentioned, that kind of puzzle with the rose container, honestly, I felt like it in this kind of early and mid game, like that was some of the strongest parts of the game to me, is just those little standalone puzzles. They're so fun. Like every time I would walk into a random house and see the puzzle, I would just lock in. I would be like, okay, here we go. How do I do this? And it's so good. Like the game is so packed full of those that it's so like easy to keep going and easy to keep exploring, because you just want to find all of them.
You really do. I mean, it's like, you know, we talk about this a lot with other games, like, you know, just one more run on roguelikes, or just like one more room or whatever. But it really does feel that way. It's kind of hard to stop. But speaking of like, now we've talked about the rose container. So let's talk about like your progression system of the game. Mm-hmm. And the way that progression system works is that you have a hub, and very quickly you find 2 people that will basically be your hub NPCs. It's 2 of your cousins. It's Pepita and Pippo. And each of them will help you progress one of your 2, let's call them active progression systems that you have. Because the rose container, as we're talking about, that's just getting more hearts. That's a passive kind of progression system that the game has. And there's another one called BP shards. So let's talk about that. You have basically Pippo, one of your cousins, will help you get these badges that you can equip that every Metroidvania has been doing since like Hollow Knight and before, where basically you have a set amount of like slots in your inventory, and you can equip different badges that take different amounts of slots that will give you different kind of skill progression, or like, one of them will give you attack +1, the other one will give you life +1, one of them will give you, hey, more roses will fall from enemies that you defeat. Cool, that's good because I need more health. But one of them is like, hey, if you use the walk the dog ability, which is an ability that you basically throw your yo-yo and you can walk across water, which is really cool, it will actually ignite, and you can kind of you can throw flames on your path, and then when you hit someone, they'll like burn. Oh my God, put me on that one right now, So obviously we're really familiar with those. The other progression system, I think, is the coolest thing that the game has did, and like something that I think is extremely, extremely good, which is the contract system. So the other progression system, something that you don't really equip, but it's permanent upgrades that you have for your character, for Pipit, is you basically go to Pepita, your cousin, and she has different contracts that you can take that will give you a permanent boost to your skills, but you have to pay it off. So, for example, you have maybe the first contract is, okay, you're going to have a permanent increase to your attack power, but it's going to cost you 500 coin that you don't have right now. Even if you have it, you can't pay it. And you will have -2 attack power and -2 health for the duration of the contract. So it makes the game so difficult, and it makes you want to explore so much because you want to pay that off immediately as soon as you can. And gold will not regenerate. Like if you go into a room and you find a secret basement and you get gold, it's not going to be there the next time you walk there. Like there's a limited amount of gold unless you defeat a bunch of enemies, because those do regenerate. But that contract system is so good.
Yeah, it's so unique. Like I don't think I've seen another game kind of approach this RPG progression in the same way. And it makes sense within the context of the story as well, because like the Pipistrello clan, your cousins, they're also money oriented.
Yeah.
That like the kind of contract, the debt, paying off the debt, like makes sense within the context of the game. And yeah, it having not only the debt, but the negative abilities that come with the debt adds such a layer to the game and how you have to plan things. Like if you've got this terrible, debt, you've got your, as you progress, they get worse, right? You can have like -1 max health, -2 attack power. Like it's really impactful, and you have to think about it and you have to plan it. Like you don't want to go into one of the big legacy dungeons and take on one of the 4 bosses while you've got those. So you really need to like plan it out and kind of make it so you're not screwing yourself, because if you have all those, the game gets so much more difficult. So
it's hard.
It's a really cool system.
So this is another VGBC question that I have for you, bud, because there's a lot of discourse that this game is very difficult. And I kind of didn't realize that when I first started playing the game. I was kind of like, it's like a, Legend of Zelda 2D top-down game. Like, I got this. Like, I can do this. So I played this game on an even more elevated difficulty because I'm dumb. And I went into the difficulty settings and I made it so that every enemy will hit me with a multiplier of 2. So instead of getting hit once, I get hit twice when I get hit. And I deal 0.75 damage to every enemy. So instead of like a regular damage, I kind of cut it by a quarter.
Crazy.
And it made the game really, really hard. But I was addicted to how hard it was. And especially when I had the contracts on me that were impacting me so much so that I basically was a one-shot death everywhere that I went. It just made me lock in so much and play. So I wanted to ask you, like, I'm super biased on the difficulty of the game. I would say this was one of the most, high difficulty ceilings that I've had. But how did it feel with you playing on a normal kind of regular difficulty?
Yeah, it's crazy we were talking about this as we were playing in the Discord, and you were sharing all that, and on stream, obviously. It's crazy to me to think about that, because to me, playing on total base difficulty, the game felt like a pretty reasonable balance of difficulty. Like there were times where I really struggled with a boss fight or really struggled with a room or stuff like that. Like to me, it felt it felt reasonably difficult on the base difficulty. So like hearing that you were playing it with all those modifiers is crazy to me, and I honestly like can't even imagine. Like I don't think I would have finished the game if I was playing with those conditions like you were, because I would have been too frustrated, because like it was hard enough as it was. It honestly felt that way to me.
It was, dude. There was a moment like on stream, maybe on my third, I think I finished it in 8 parts. So maybe on my third part or something, I was like, dude, I think I'm going to turn it off. Like, I can't do this. Like, this is way too hard, especially with the attack power being worse. I could live with like dying a lot, but I couldn't live with like some enemies, like the most basic enemy I couldn't defeat with one hit until like way later in the game. Like, you know what I'm talking about? That pink blob. Brother, I had to hit that guy 3 times sometimes to kill it, And
Insane.
I was really struggling. I was like, I can't do this. So I was going to maybe up my damage to normal, but I didn't. I powered through and I kind of kept it that way. But yeah, this game is difficult, but it, again, like, it's kind of, I guess, I don't want to say it's as difficult as you want it, because you have the option to not do these contracts, but the game just really incentivizes you to go for a lot of their secrets and dungeons and like side quests and stuff, because you will get rewarded with a lot of money, and money is really important in this game. Like, you need that to get rid of your contract, so much so that like when you don't have a contract on, and I like stumbled upon a puzzle or something that like gave me like 500 coin, nothing gives you 500 coin, but maybe 200 coin. I was pissed. I was like, no, I don't want this right now. Like, I need to go get a contract and start paying that thing off, But I just have a little stat for you. Okay. Because of, on game overs, you lose money. So if you have a game over, that means that you've depleted your health, you died. You just, respawn in the room, basically. Nothing really happens in terms of your progress, but you lose like a lot of your money. Like maybe like 15% of your coin is gone. I lost 12,000 gold in this game. 12,000 on game overs. And so I basically couldn't upgrade any badge with Pippo because I never had any money. I just never had anything, dude. I think I upgraded like 5 badges, and I was like, yeah, I'll just use those.
I would be interested to know what my number is. I guess I didn't check when I finished the game, but I honestly might have been around the same number. So yeah, I don't know.
I thought that was really cool that everything that you do in this game is tracked. Everything. The amounts of steps that you take, the amounts of jumps that you take, the amount of damage that you deal, the amount of damage that you take, every single thing is tracked. So you can always check, like, if you're struggling with something, like you can check. If you, have discovered a bunch of stuff, you can check your percent completion of the game. If you found every single secret, if you found every single map square in your map, you can check. And I just found that just so amazing. This is so stupid, but I'm going to say it. If a genie ever, if I ever find a genie, like in real life, and he gives me the 3 wishes, one of my wishes will be to have that power. I want to be I want to know every single stat of everything. If I just think it, like if I have a question, I just think, okay, I want to know how many glasses of water I've drank in 2024. I just want to know the answer. Like, that just sounds so fun. I want everything to be trackable.
I want to know what obscure stats that I'm in like the top 99th percentile for worldwide. Like, I want to know if I'm a 99th percentile like water drinker, or like, something, just all the obscure. I would love that.
Yeah, dude, it would be so much fun. So anyways, that just kind of like, it really tickled me that it was so good. But another
No, you go ahead. Yeah,
I was just going to say, like, another, like, one more progression that we talked about it is that you get all these abilities, and the abilities come in 2 forms. You can either use the abilities in your, like, it's like a yo-yo ability or a non-yo-yo ability. And the non-yo-yo abilities, some of them I think are optional, which I think it sounds crazy to me. Like, one of the first abilities that I got was the parry ability, where you can, parry, you can perfect parry things, and that will make the enemy get like a little stagger. And that was the godsend for me. Like, I became a parry king, and without that, I don't think I would have like finished the game genuinely. But I just wanted to ask you, like, it seems crazy to me that these abilities on a Metroidvania game could be optional. So I wanted to ask you, like, how you felt about that.
Honestly, the parry ability is the only one like that for me. Like, I think the parry ability is really unique in that way, where it changes the way you really approach combat. Like, all of the other special abilities that you can equip in that slot are mostly just like damage based, or they do slightly different forms of damage or damage in a different way. But you're right. I mean, the parry is super unique in that way. I used it a lot in certain areas, but it wasn't like I didn't need it. I didn't have to have it because I wasn't playing on a one-shot difficulty like you were. I could tank a couple hits, and that was okay for me. So I mainly used it in the areas where there were a lot of ranged attacks, like some of the puzzles where there's like the Hornet police officers basically that fire bullets, and the bullets are everywhere. I was definitely using the parry there. And the first major boss battle, Don M, I definitely used it there. But yeah, it just speaks to our different experience with the difficulty, because for me, like, it wasn't super important that I evaded or dodged every attack. So yeah, but I mean, I think you're right. It is crazy that such like a big game changing ability could just be missed if you didn't know.
Yeah, no, I think as well, though, I think that might be the only optional one. I just have to pretend that all of them are optional now, just because that one was optional. And then I figured, oh my God, maybe all of the other ones will be optional. It seems like on your regular pathing towards the temples, you will find all the other ones, except that one. It's the one that you have to like do an additional thing to get. But it just, I don't know. For me, it was like, I really couldn't beat the game without it. So I definitely needed it.
Talking about I mentioned the first boss battle just now, Don M. So obviously the two big bad guys in the first big areas are Don Moretti's secret fast food fry oil plant and the Slime Corp skyscraper. So of those two, which was more engaging to you? Like, did you have a preference of one dungeon over the other between those?
I swear to you, Ben, you wrote this question down in our notes, and I couldn't even remember the skyscraper guy. I couldn't. I'm Don Mauretti all the way, bro. That like lava frying oil thing was so crazy and so funny to me that, like, honestly, like, I genuinely couldn't. Like, the other two temples from the second part of the game are also like incredibly good. Like, I liked all of them, but I could not remember the skyscraper guy. I genuinely couldn't.
Yeah,
so
I think it was just a little. It was a little too straightforward, I feel like. And there was, it's a big area. There's lots to do in that area of the map. But I think like the overall kind of, I don't know, working your way through the dungeon to the boss, and the boss itself, I feel like was a little too basic for that.
I also feel like at that point in the game, you have walk the dog, so you can walk in water. And then you can now go over bigger ledges, because you can like jump and then toss your yo-yo towards the wall, and then it'll give you like a boost in the jump in the opposite direction. And so I just feel like it opened up the map so much to so many different things that I could do, that I was just doing that. Sure. I was just completing the map instead of like really focusing on the second temple, which is probably why it felt bad. I'm sure it's good. I genuinely can't remember it. So I think Don Mauretti is my guy. Okay, so I feel like that's the early game of Pipistrello and the Cursed Yoyo. So like, if you haven't played the game, go play it now, because now we're going to go into the mid game and late game, which will definitely spoil like the whole game for you. It's a really good game. I think first impressions for both Ben and I, well, I don't want to speak for you, but for me, I was like, I love this game. Like, this is definitely one of my favorite games of 2025. And all I wanted to do was keep playing. And I had, issues with that, because I had a big trip in the middle of December, and I had 2 weeks of not playing Pipistrello and the Cursed Yoyo. And that's all I wanted to do was play it. So yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. So yeah, like you said, I mean, that's the early game. The mid game honestly proceeds in mostly the same way as the early game. We've taken down Don M. We took down the slime guy, which I don't even remember his name. We took down those two. We've got our first two mega batteries, and with both of those movement abilities, now the top area of the map, kind of the northern area of the map, really opens up to you. And so you can head up there and you can basically pick which of the first two ones you want to do. I actually don't know. Do you have to go in an order, or can you do either in either order in the northern area?
You can do either. Which one did you do first?
So for some reason I hit, this is the hard stuck I was talking about earlier. I was playing this game on a flight home, and I started it, and I got to this point where you go to the northern area of the map and you have to do one of the next two bosses. And I could not figure out how to begin both areas. So both areas are kind of walled off by different puzzles.
Yes, they are.
And I don't know why. It was just not happening in my brain. It was just not happening. Maybe it was, the environment I was in on the flight, like it was just chaotic. But I was literally on the flight trying to figure out, I was hard stuck. I could not figure it out. And I had to like get on the in-flight Wi-Fi, pull up a playthrough of the game to see how to complete one of them. And it was the one I was talking about where literally all you have to do is throw the yo-yo. But it was just not happening in my brain. Yeah. So I eventually wound up going to the Poultry FC area run by Carrara. You can give me the correct pronunciation on that one.
I guess it's Carrara, but again, this is Brazilian game, so I don't know Portuguese,
Sure.
But hey, I went.
That's the first one I did.
Yeah, I went to the other one, so that answers your question. I did Can you help me with what's his name? Toxie,
yeah.
Toxie. I did Toxie first, which is like, wait, we haven't talked about like the game is so funny. Also, like the writing of the game is, I mean, I think so. I think it's really good. It's very like gamer, like funny, kind of like stupid, like MSN Messenger kind of type, kind of funny, like back in that era, like really stupid like sentences that people say.
Yeah, agreed.
But it's hilarious, and I think like they really nailed the like just the craziness of these like overlords and like how they're scamming people in different ways. And basically this dude is just like a total influencer guy, and he is like the top influencer in the land. And basically everything that he says is like super meta, and like you have to do what he says, because like, if you're not doing what he says, then like you're definitely not in the know, And so much so that like one of the things he does is that, it's stupid, but like every year you have to get the latest phone. If you don't have the latest phone, you're not even cool. So what are you doing? Buy my latest phone every single year. It's stupid things like that. But you interact with the NPCs, and it just feels so funny and so stupid. So I really enjoy that. And then in the Poultry FC one, it's even more like kind of dumb, silly gamer humor. It doesn't take itself seriously at all. I think they know that that's what they're doing, and I feel like probably 17-year-old me or 16-year-old me, not 17, maybe I'm a little old for that, but like 15-year-old me would have loved it, and 29-year-old me definitely loved it. I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, so you did Toxie first. I did the Poultry FC. So having, with both of those in mind, I wanted to ask you like kind of, and this is piggybacking off the discussion of the difficulty we talked about earlier, but what did you think about the boss battle designs in general in this game?
I thought they were good. I mean, the boss fights were so much harder than everything else, except Toxie. I thought Toxie was super easy. I kind of beat that pretty quickly.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you? Dude, that's insane to me. Toxie, I felt like was the biggest difficulty spike in the game. I don't know why. Maybe I had like a crazy contract on that was like reducing the damage I did a lot or something. But that fight was so hard to me. It took me so many tries. I was doing so little damage. I like the little guy Lincoln, because you're not actually, you're fighting. Toxie is like the influencer, and Lincoln is like kind of a little sycophant for her, basically a little follower. And he's this like super edgy like ninja cosplayer guy, and he's just bouncing all over the map, like grappling, bouncing around. I thought that fight was so hard, and it's insane to me that it was so easy for you.
No, I think yeah, like if I mean I would see this is again, I would love to know my stats, but I'm pretty sure I lost I lost the fewest times to that one.
That's
Now
crazy.
like I still lost like 5 times, like don't get me wrong, I didn't get it in like twice, but like, Don Mauretti and the slime guy, I felt like those were tough. Like especially at the beginning for me, I only had like 4 hearts.
I one-shotted the slime guy, like literally one-shotted.
Dude, no, I think the slime guy was the hardest for me.
It's crazy.
Maybe that's why actually I blocked it off of my mind. I think I probably had to fight that dude like 10 times genuinely to kill
insane.
it. I felt that Lincoln was really, I had the parry timing down. Like especially there was like 2 moves that I just was always parrying him. And I'm pretty sure in saying the contract that I had against him was finally, there's 2 kind of like big, like there's one tree, which is your progress system with Pepita, but there's 2 like final nodes that you can go for. And one of them gives you an extra, like a secondary ability to all of your abilities. So it just makes them stronger. And the other node is anytime you get coin, you heal. So one of them is more defensive, the other one's more offensive. Something like that. I can't remember the top one because I didn't finish the top one. I went to the bottom one first. And I had the parry and the walk the dog had that ignite thing, which was doubled because of my badge, and my parry was doing the stagger. So my abilities were like really going crazy mode at this point. So it was really helping me a lot. So maybe that's why it was better. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's so funny. But in general, I feel like the bosses were really good. I think the other fight in this area, the Carrera FC, Poultry FC with Carrera, I thought that like after playing that one, I felt like the other boss fights were really vanilla in comparison. Because the Poultry FC is this soccer team basically, and the team is run by this guy Carrera, but within it, he also owns this like sports gambling empire essentially, and all of the soccer matches, the football matches are fixed. So you've got, there's all kinds of NPCs you can interact with that talk about how much they love the team and how much they're wagering on the teams and everything. And Carrera sets it up to where he can snap his fingers and have everyone bet on one team and then fix the match, and he wins all the money. And the boss fight for it is not a traditional boss fight at all, because you actually have to play his team. He's got this robot team of soccer players, these robot chickens that play soccer. And you have to play against them. You have to like literally take the ball on your yo-yo, navigate through all the players. And it's so unique. And after playing that one, I felt like some of the other boss fights were a little vanilla in comparison. And it just like, it showed me what they were capable of in terms of this creative boss design, that I was like, man, I kind of wish they leaned a little bit more into that.
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, because Poultry FC, that match was like the last boss fight that I did before going to the final boss fight. It was almost like the peak. It just like peaked for me.
Yeah.
So I was like, it like built up to that. But now that you're talking about this, I actually completely agree with you. I think that they could have done like Don Mauretti and the slime guy. It's fine. They're the 2 first boss fights. Give them normal. That's okay. You have to have like a regular, just big dude that is like kind of tough, boss fight. But yeah, you're right. Like they could have done something better with Toxie and Lincoln to make it a little bit more interesting, especially because the game is so focused on movement abilities. And getting to the final boss fights, you have to be like so locked in with all of your movement. But then
100%.
You get to the boss fight and it's just a ring, and then you just kind of fight the dude, So it kind of like loses that kind of I don't know, the charm that it has because of all of your abilities, except the final boss fight, which we're gonna get to, which is amazing. But yeah, no, that's a really good question though and a really good point about the boss fights. But dude, I lost the first match. I don't know if you did, but I had to redo. It was hilarious
I
too.
one-shotted that one too.
Whatever,
I think
dude.
I did.
No, okay. It was so funny. It was so it was 2-2. Hey, listen, match is 2-2. We're in the last second of the second half. I got a corner kick, and I'm about to head the ball in, And what happens? Accidentally, I like hit someone instead, and the ball literally flew into my own net from my own hands. And it was so funny, and it was so sad. And I was like, no, I lost 3-2.
Oh my God.
And then we went, I tried it again, and then I won like 3-1 or something like that. But yeah, I thought it was so funny how I lost that.
That's hilarious.
Okay,
so we talked about we've already talked about the movement abilities and the RPG mechanics. How did you feel like those were progressing as we got deeper into the game? Like for me, the movement abilities, once you have like the full suite of movement abilities, you can walk the dog over water, you can do your wall jumps, you can ride along the walls, you can do the flying saucer where you throw the yo-yo out and then kind of grapple to it and kind of spring off of it. The movement puzzles got so intense for me when you have all those abilities, because you have to like string so many of them together. It was like so much to keep track of in my brain, and it was a lot of them took me like multiple tries to get through them. So what was your experience with those? Like, were you locked in, or did you struggle with those too?
Just to echo that, the movement is so crisp in this game.
Yeah,
it is so good. Like everything that you get, once you get those 4 abilities, there's nothing you can't get to. It's just how good are you, basically, because it's so difficult. Like Ben is saying, it's so hard to get locked in. I think I had the advantage that before I went to the final boss and you have all of those movement abilities, I tried to do as much as I could before going there. So I struggled so much in so many other areas of the game, getting different puzzle pieces, rose petals, getting some BP shards, getting a bunch of gold, getting some diamonds that you can sell to this like pigeon dude, and then he gives you a lot of money that helps with the with your contracts. That by the time I got to the final temple, dude, I was locked in. There's a section in the final temple where basically the whole temple will self-destruct or something unless you do this like crazy movement routine basically, and get to like a little lever that you have to pull or something, and you only get 3 real minutes. If you die, it's still counting down, so like it's kind of tough. And I got it in one. I one-shot it, and I felt good with it. I think at that point I was locked in, but I wanted to talk about the ride the wall. The ride the wall was the fucking worst. The worst. It was so bad. The reason why, and like I don't know, I'm sure they had to like try to refine it as much as they could. It just wasn't working well for me, because the way that it works is like you can basically grind the wall like you're like a skateboarder on your yo-yo. But when you like pop off the wall, they kind of had to give you like a big jump in case you want to go from one wall to the other wall in front of you. But because of that, whenever you needed to like hop off the wall and just get on land, sometimes you would overshoot all these jumps and just die because there was like a ledge on the other side instead of a wall. And so I killed myself so much on like the easiest things on the wall ride, and it just made me so mad, dude.
Yeah, I died with that ability more than any other by far. Yeah. By far. It was so frustrating. Just the little, like you were saying, the little intricacies of how you can jump wall to wall, or like when you reach the end of a wall and it pops you off at a certain angle that you weren't expecting. So hard. Yeah. So hard. And then when you combine that with the other movement abilities, because by the late game, every movement puzzle requires stringing multiple together, it gets so hard. It gets so hard. Like if you have seen on TikTok or on YouTube or whatever, those like really late game like movement sequences from like Hollow Knight or Silk Song or other Metroidvanias like that are more like platformers, you will have to do multiple of those in this game. And it's amazing how they were able to like provide the most crisp, like almost platforming mechanics in a game that isn't a platformer. It is literally a top-down 2D game, but it feels just so good, so much better than any 2D platformer. I think it just feels so good. I mean, Hollow Knight and Silk Song feel amazing, so don't crucify me for that one. But like, it does feel really, really good, and honestly, props to them. I think all of those puzzles, putting everything together with the movement, with the combat,
gave you such a good package in this game. And there's
sure.
nothing else I think to talk about, Ben, than going to the late game. How do you like? Okay, why don't you walk me through what happens in the late game and how do you resolve this conundrum that Madame Pipistrello and Pipit are finding themselves in?
Yeah, so honestly, the story from the early game to the mid game, it's pretty single-minded. Like you get your objective in the early game and it really doesn't change a lot through it. Like it's very straightforward. And the questions we were having earlier about our place in this world, we are the monopoly, we're the corporate overlords. Sure, the guys we're fighting are bad too, but like when you confront Auntie about it, she just tells you like, look how bad those guys are. They need us. They need someone like us. It's like Scarface. We say goodnight to the bad guy. You need the bad guy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That was good.
Like that's our only defense is like, look how bad they are. They need someone like us to whip them into shape, basically. And it's like that. I get it, but it's like it still doesn't justify it. So it really hasn't changed a lot, and you're still kind of wondering how this is going to resolve. So you get the last batteries. You've got your 4 mega batteries now, each containing a piece of your auntie's soul, and it's time to head to the mansion, Pipistrello Manor, to put her back together, to put her soul back in her body and to get her back, basically, because she's itching to get out of this yo-yo and your smelly pockets and traveling around the city with you. She's ready to be done with it, and she lets you know that. But so we head to the mansion. There are some more kind of dungeon mechanics. You have to work your way through a number of different areas, that a lot of movement challenges, a lot of kind of mini bosses. And eventually you reach, like you said, you reach the laboratory, and the laboratory is where you flip a switch and it triggers this crazy security system where the whole place is going to self-destruct unless you reach a lever in time. You have to do this crazy sequence of movement abilities to do it in the time frame. That one took me a few times. It's crazy you one-shotted it because it was so stressful for me. That one took me a few times, and eventually you get through. You reach the laboratory where you can put her auntie's soul back in her body. But what happens? Your 2 cousins come in out of nowhere, and they want to foil your whole plan. So why don't you tell us what they're trying to do?
It's so basically Pepito and Pepita, sorry, Pepita and Pipo are the bad guys behind everything, and they were the ones that were plotting with Don Mauretti, with the slime corp guy, with Carrara, and with Lincoln and Toxie. Not Lincoln, just Toxie. And basically they were plotting to overthrow Madame Pipistrello and put her soul in the mega batteries, but they wanted it for themselves. Like maybe they were gonna give them 1 mega battery to the other guys, but like they wanted them for themselves. They wanted to like take over the Pipistrello Industries, because they didn't think that Madame Pipistrello was up for it anymore, which is crazy. But then, of course, every one of the bad guys took a mega battery for themselves, and they kind of kicked Pipo and Pepita from the plan. And so they needed you to defeat them so that then they can kind of overthrow you after. And so the plan that they had was that while you were retrieving the mega batteries, Pipo and Pepita were like messing with them. Like they were like not like, they were tinkering with them. And actually there's a point in the game after you get your 2nd mega battery where I went to the hub and I couldn't find Pepita and Pipa. Pepita and Pipo. I can't.
It's a tongue twister.
Pepita and Pipo. And a chat was like, no, they're in the mega battery room. And so I went to the mega battery room, and yeah, they were there. And I was like, hey, what are you doing? And they're like, oh, nothing. And I forgot about it. I was like, okay, like whatever. But they were the bad guys at the end. And basically what they're going to do is that they created like a corrupted soul of Madame Pipistrello. And then they were going to trap you and Madame Pipistrello in this like corrupted world that is like not in this world. It's like a different dimension. And it's like, using the mega batteries like energy, they have created this like other world that they will trap your souls in, and then you could never mess with their plan again. And so basically, Madame Pipistrello becomes a corrupted like boss, basically, that you're gonna fight in a second, and with the other four pieces of her soul, and then you go into this new dimension, and then you fight this boss. Their idea was that, the corrupted dude was going to beat you and you're never going to be able to escape, and Madame Pipistrello will never be able to mess with the plans. But you had different ideas. And the sequence of this boss fight is basically like this. You are in this big ring, and you are fighting Madame Pipistrello's corrupted soul that is using the 4 mega batteries that each have a different color as different abilities against you. These 4 mega batteries are like floating around her, and one of them will like, throw like bombs at you, and the other one will do like a crazy like bullet hell attack, and this and that, which is so cool. And each of them actually has a little item on them, and if you hit it at the right time, you can get the item, and that will help you on the fight. Every time maybe you deal like a fifth of her health or something, she teleports you to like a different location in this dimension where you have to do a series of platforming challenges to get back into the ring and keep the fight going. And Ben, I don't know about you, but I haven't felt this good about a boss fight, like a final boss fight to like cap off a game, in a long time. Like it felt really, really good.
100%. It felt like it felt like the pinnacle of the game. It felt like everything else in the game was building up to this moment. All of the combat, all of the abilities, all the movement, all the platforming was building up to that one singular moment. So it felt super good, super satisfying. I was really, really happy with the boss fight. I think it was super cool. I wanted to know, what at this point in the game, what was your kit? What were you running? Were you still a parry boy? Were you subbing things out? What were you doing?
Yeah, I was a parry boy. My kit was something like this. It was like, I had a lot of BPs. I don't know if you did. I got to like 25 or something. I had a ton. Dang. And I had like +2 attack power, +1 life. I had 2 or 3 fire abilities. So my throwing the yo-yo, it would leave a fire attack. Doing my walk the dog would do a fire attack. And then I had 2 defense badges too. One was I could deflect the first 2 projectiles in every room for free. And one, if I fell, I wouldn't get hit one or twice for free. So it was like a combination of like defense and a combination of like doing fire attacks, because basically my kit was anything that comes my way, I will parry. Try my best to. And as soon as there's an opening, I will walk the dog and leave flames on the ground for, DPS to hit. And that's kind of what I was running. Yeah. Just
that's awesome.
It felt really good. It felt really good.
I feel like my kit was so basic in comparison. Like I really did not do a ton of exploring. Like you said you had 25 BP. I think I literally had like 12 or something like that. God. I found like a handful of badges, maybe. Like I really did not find anything. And I also I don't know, as the game went on, I felt less compelled to do the RPG progression, like reading the abilities as they went further down in the tree. The end ones sounded super cool, but the ones before them felt less impactful to me, and the penalties got worse and worse as you went on. Yeah. So as I was getting to the end game, I was like, I really don't feel like it's worth it for me to be taking on these huge penalties. Like when I'm on my way to beat the boss, essentially, to finish the game. So I just really didn't wind up interacting that much with the RPG progression as the game went on, which was disappointing to me. But I feel like the solution is just to explore more. But because of, holidays and travel and just not having as much time as I wanted to play the game, I just wasn't able to do that. So it kind of comes down to me. But my kit was just like parry, like you said, and then the ghost move. I got so much mileage out of the ghost move. What
was the ghost move?
where you throw your yo-yo and it just stays there, and as long as it's there, it damages the person there because it just keeps spinning stationary. So I use that the whole time. Like as soon as I got that, I don't think it left my kit.
No, I swapped that one for, because there's a lot of the difficulty in this game too is that they send like a ton of enemies at you at once, and there's a move that you get later where you can kind of like charge your yo-yo, and then as you release it, it'll hit every enemy that is like in the vicinity of the first enemy that you hit. So the yo-yo will go like choo, 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 and start hitting everything kind of like pinball. And I really like that one. I could get a lot of enemies with that one. But I actually only didn't get 3 notes. Or 2 maybe even. Like the last one on the top one, it's 3,100 gold, dude. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna get 3,100 gold off of this. And then there's another one that I just skipped because I thought it was not worth it. But I found, listen, I don't know what the number of badges is. I think it's like 40, but I found like 35. Like I almost found them all. And there's also
really good
cheater badges. There's badges in like really, 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 really secret locations that break the game in some different way for you, and it tells you like, hey, like this badge is intended kind of like to break the game and like to use for fun. Like if you want a regular experience of the game, do not equip this badge, you know. And I know that some people on the Discord, as soon as they found those badges, they equipped them, and one of them is incredible. It's you can basically walk the dog forever. You can change directions of walk the dog as many times as you want, because walk the dog, whenever you walk through water, you actually can only go one direction. You go one direction. Every time I'm saying one direction, I'm just thinking about One Direction, which is hilarious. You go in one direction and then that's it. And then you jump, and then you have to do a different like movement ability. You can't just keep going and do walk the dog again. So that one was really good. But I actually found a different one that it's like it would elongate your string, and so you could actually hit people further away. But I never used it. I was not a cheater. Don't worry, guys. But no, I felt that my kit was really good. I honestly genuinely felt really good with it. Especially there's a arena in this game where there's 3 levels of difficulty in this arena, and the first one is free. You can go and play it. Well, you have to pay to enter, but it's free, meaning that when you're there, they give it to you. The other 2, you have to do like you have to find 2 specific people that will give you a ticket to be able to do the level 2 and level 3 arenas. And Ben, for the last level of the arena, I had to lower the difficulty.
Oh no!
I did. I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't.
My goat is washed. My goat is washed.
Goat was washed. I tried it like 5 times and I was getting nowhere. Like I feel like I genuinely feel that way in different games. Like, and we'll talk about this in the second half, based on the January game of the month. But whenever and you've talked about this with Lorelai and the Laser Eyes, whenever I find myself in a difficult situation, if I'm making progress towards it, I feel amazing. Like that progress, like, oh, this time I actually like was able to hit this guy until half health. Oh, and the next time it was 60% health. Oh, and the next time it was 70%. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm getting better. I lost in the same way like 6 different times in this arena. So I was like, I can't do it anymore. Like I'm definitely not progressing. And I took it off, and that's the only time. And I won in one shot. I won as soon as I put it in normal. I one shot it. I was like, wait, that was really easy.
You're like Rock Lee taking off the ankle weights. Yes! You were so locked in. Awesome.
But I feel like I got ahead of myself. I was already thinking about optional quests. So you have to fight Madame Pipistrello's cursed soul, and you defeat it. But when you defeat it, well, you also defeat Madame Pipistrello's soul. So she actually kind of dies with it. You get out of the cursed dimension that you had been placed in by Pipo and Pepita. And I was expecting Pipit to absolutely like hit and beat the shit out of Pepita and Pipo, which did not happen. I was slightly disappointed in that. Instead, you kind of like tell them, get out of here or whatever. And you decide to destroy the mega battery so that, they never can be used again. But you kind of say goodbye in this emotional kind of conversation that you have with Madame Pipistrello. and that's it. And then you leave, and Madame Pipistrello is no longer there, and Pepita and Pipo are gone for good. You know, you shoo them away, and they're not gonna mess with Pipistrello Industries anymore. But wait, you only defeated 4/5 of Madame Pipistrello's soul. And even though real Madame Pipistrello is no longer with us, 1/5 of her soul is still in your yo-yo, and you become probably the champion yo-yo master of all time because she stays with you in your yo-yo, and you can talk with her whenever you want. And at that point in the game, Madame Pipistrello has a slight change of heart and is a lot better person. And Pipit also feels like a better person after learning that, you know, maybe I should be a gooder boy.
Yeah, and I guess there's like the resolution to the whole energy subplot, not even subplot, that's the plot, is that like when Madame Pipistrello's soul kind of disintegrates, it gets like spread throughout the land, and basically everyone has access to this unlimited energy now. Like it just, energy is just totally uniform. It's everyone has unlimited energy, which is nice, but it's also like we just spent the game seeing what happens when people have the unlimited energy. We just spent the whole time defeating people that were abusing the unlimited energy. So it's like, it feels a little weird. The like payoff to the plot didn't really land super well. Like,
No.
I don't know. And you can say whatever you want, but yeah, I don't know. It felt a little weird. In that way to me.
My question to the end for you is, do you think Pocket Trap landed the plane with this plot twist, or do you think they completely lost the plot?
Yeah, and it's like the plot twist, there was nobody left. Like who else are you going to be fighting at the end of the game besides your auntie? Like there's 4 people, there's 4 bad guys. Obviously the plot twist is that, you know, your cousins are in on it, but that wasn't like the most surprising thing in the world. Like, and then there was literally nobody left to fight at the end of the game. So it's like, who else is it going to be but some version of auntie? So yeah, that wasn't super surprising. And then, you know, like I just said, like the ultimate, I don't know, resolution to the plot just felt a little weird to me. Like it, I don't know. So yeah, to me, I don't think it landed super well.
No, I think they lost the plot as well. I mean, they kind of gave themselves a really difficult task to write a story that was like anti-hero story. Mm-hmm. And it's not fully anti-hero. It's more like agnostic hero. Like Pippin doesn't care about anything, literally. Like he doesn't really care. There's like bad things going on everywhere. And sometimes he comments like, hey, that's like not good and not okay. But it's like, that's it. Like that's the extent of his like, you know, like I guess comments on the situation. He doesn't want to do anything about it. He's just like, oh my God, I want my allowance again so I can go to my yo-yo tournaments. That's really his own, that's his biggest goal in life. So yeah, like I feel like sure the game ended and everyone has energy for free and like the people are free from the corporate overlord. It's kind of like, you know, ruling over them. But like Ben said, it's like, okay, well, now there's going to be like even more bad shit going on. And, you know, maybe there's going to be some good shit as well. But like, it's probably not going to be good. Like, this is not like a resolution per se. It's more like, okay, the end. Bye. Like, see you later, dude. Thanks for playing our game, you know? Which, listen, you play Pipistrello and the Cursed Yoyo for the gameplay. You don't play it because it's going to give you the most enlightening experience in terms of story. The story is stupid, it's funny, and it works most of the time, but half the time you're kind of like, okay, it doesn't really work that well. I think the writing itself and like the different conversations that you have with different NPCs are stronger in general than like the overall plot. But it's good. It makes the moment to moment of the game really strong.
Definitely. Yeah. So what was your final completion when you beat the game? Like how many of the optional quests did you do?
So I completed the game at 85%. So it's about 85-ish%. And I 100%ed the regular map. I guess we haven't talked about this, but there's 2 maps in the game. You have the regular map where you're like in the regular like land above the city. And there's a sewage system underneath the city that is vast. And you have to find all of the different rooms in the sewage system, and you can't access all of them unless you have completed the map above. So it's like you have to complete the first map, and then you can access the second map, and you need all the movement abilities to find everything. So I left all of that undone, basically. Like the sewage system, I don't know what my percentage is. I have to go check, but I would imagine it's at like 65 to 70%. And that's probably where everything that I'm missing to get is in, Also, one more thing, and I don't know if you found this, but every boss that you fight has a different augmented boss fight. And I found one. I found the Slime Corp guy, and he was extremely difficult. He was so hard. And in the moment, I probably was like in between the second and third temple. So I was just like, hell no, I can't. Like I just found him accidentally, and I was like, I'm leaving. Like I can't do this. And then I forgot where he was, because even though this game is so good and it has a huge map and you can like see so many things in the map, you can't fucking put stamps on it. And it makes me so mad when Metroidvanias don't let you stamp the map, because there's so many places that you want to revisit once you have your abilities and your moveset complete, but you can't do it because you forget where they are. This map is gigantic. It's so big, and I couldn't remember where this boss fight was, and I wanted really badly to go and fight it after I finished the game, but I couldn't do it, and it just made me mad.
Yeah, that's so funny. I didn't find any of those. My completion was so low. It was like 45%. Like I just did not have the energy or the like time to put into the game. And I was like like I said, like the little individual puzzle rooms were like my favorite parts of the game. So I loved that exploration aspect of it. But I just like didn't have the time to put in the time that I wanted to. So I pretty much just like bum rushed the final boss essentially.
What was your playtime?
I don't know. Do you want me to check right now?
Yeah, check right now. I'll check mine.
Let's see.
We're so quick, guys. We're so quick. Dun, dun, dun.
Go.
Dun. Okay, 21 hours.
We're losing viewers.
We're losing viewers.
That was 11. 11 hours.
Okay, yeah, that is so a big
literally
difference.
Half.
Yeah, because I was going to say, like, I probably, if I put 5 more hours into the game, I would 100% it. I'm pretty sure. It's really easy to tell like where you're missing like a piece of the map that you have to go do, but it's extremely difficult to tell when you have left something that you haven't picked up. Mm-hmm. Because again, you can't stamp it and it won't tell you exactly where things are. But there is an NPC in the game that you can pay money to, and he will point you in the map the different badges, the different petal containers, and the BP shards in the map that you have left to uncover. But again, you have to pay them. The good thing that the game does, though, is that when you finish it, every enemy that you defeat drops twice as much gold. And there's a badge that makes it so that they also drop twice as much. And I think they stack. And so you can get 4 times as much gold, which is really good. Dang. By the end, like I did like a couple of things after I finished the game, and I literally got like 12,000 gold in like 30 minutes. So that makes it really easy, and you can go and spend all this money, figure out where all the badges are in the map. They will stamp the map for you, and then you can go get it, which again, it's a good solution to what I was saying, but also that just let me stamp the map and then I can go figure out myself, but it works.
Totally. Yeah.
Okay. I think we did it with Pipistrello and the Cursed Yoyo. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a little break. And when we come back in the second half of the show, we're going to answer the questions that the community has sent to us on the Discord. So we will see you in a second. Welcome back to part 2 of Video Game Book Club, the segment of our show where we answer questions that the community has sent to us via Discord. If you want to be part of this community and send us questions and play the game of the month with us, then you should join the club. And how do you join the club, Bad Benny?
You got to join the Discord, bro. Check the description, hit the link in the description. Yeah, the book club is great. The Discord is great. It's so fun. Everybody's always talking about so many different things. Everybody's playing so many different games.
So many games.
People playing the game of the month along with us. It's just a great place. If you're a gamer, if you like gaming, if you like hearing us talk about games, and just having that kind of community to fall back on, it's a great place. So join the club for sure.
You'll know when we're streaming. You'll know when we're doing community games with people, with the community, of course. You're gonna know when we're playing different games, and you're gonna know what other people are playing, and you can kind of be like, hey, I like that guy because he plays really good games, so I'm gonna be friends with him or her. We're going to be better in 2026 at posting more on our regular social media so that you are in the know of Video Game Book Club. Sometimes we don't really post nothing and we just post, little reels and stuff. But we're going to be better, and I'm announcing it now, so that if you don't have Discord and you don't really know how to handle it, you can still be in the know of what games we're going to be playing in the Game of the Month every single month. So be on the lookout. Instagram, we're on Instagram and TikTok, basically. That's it. So, basically get Instagram, bro, because I don't know if I'm going to post anything on TikTok like that. So PSA, get Instagram. Okay.
Love it.
Ben, why don't I start, because it's my game that I picked. And I have the first viewer question. It comes from Inferno Disco. And the first question is, if you could add another yo-yo move to the game, what would it be?
Honestly, my answer for this question kind of got taken already, because you mentioned a move in the game that I didn't know existed and that I wanted to exist, which was the bouncing between enemies. So that was going to be my answer. Yeah. But they already did it. So credit to the devs. I just didn't find it. With that being said, I think I would do some sort of like homing ability, like when you throw the yo-yo, give it the ability to maybe not like perfectly hone in, but just kind of like curve toward the nearest enemy, or just like slightly home a little bit. There's so many times in the combat where you maybe have to throw the yo-yo to defeat certain enemies, because you just can't defeat them up close for whatever reason. And it's so hard lining up, because there's always other enemies on the screen at the same time. It's so hard lining up that angle that you need to take when you're throwing the yo-yo. So just having, and maybe it's a cheater ability, maybe it's not, but having that ability to just have like a little bit of a homing yo-yo to kind of help out, I think would be awesome.
That sounds really good, actually, and that would have helped me a lot.
Yes.
My ability that I would wish we had was, okay, in this game, you can throw your yo-yo. And when you throw your yo-yo, you actually deal a lot of damage. So you're incentivized to kind of like do that attack move where you like throw your yo-yo. But what happens if your yo-yo lands on a ledge and on a platform, you won't get it back until like a small cooldown ends. And so maybe 10 seconds, you don't have your yo-yo with you. So you only have your string. Yes. And when you do your string, you can only push the enemy and kind of stagger them a little bit. And I wish we had a string ability, like a lasso ability, especially if I'm going to retrieve my yo-yo and there's like a big baddie in front of me. I would wish I could lasso him and toss him behind me, like a little toss behind move, a little lasso toss behind move. You know what I'm talking about, Benny?
Love it.
Little lasso toss behind move. and then I can go fetch my yo-yo a little quicker. That would be pretty fun.
I love that. I want to use both of our abilities. I will ask you the second question from Inferno Disco on the VGBC Discord. 2025 was a big year for gaming, especially for non-AAA games, which it definitely was. What does this game say about where indie games are right now to you?
Why did I get the hard question? Like, we should have reordered this. Sorry, I got the hard question.
Them's the breaks.
No, my answer to this question is, I feel like there's been a lot of discourse about what like non-AAA games like / what indie games are. And there's been a lot of different answers. People have different opinions. But like Pipistrello and the Cursed Yoyo, to me, like when I think of an indie game, like an indie darling, this is the game. Like this is the game that I'm like, fuck yeah. Like I'm so happy that this exists. Like people put their like tiny studios to work to make something so good in such a way, like Pipistrello, that it got nominated for Game of the Year, Indie Game of the Year, in the same way that obviously Expedition 33 did. But obviously, they're very different studios with very different budgets. I think the indie game scene is kind of like the scene that everyone wants to be in. Like, I feel like I was like an indie boy always, and I always played like small games, and Ben always asked me about Skyrim, The Witcher, and Metal Gear Solid. I literally have zero ball knowledge on those games, but I'll ask him about Dodgeball Academia next, and let's see if he knows anything about my man
Nope.
Otto. You know,
I don't. I don't.
I feel like it's probably the golden era of indie games right now. You can get all of these amazing games on Steam or now even in consoles. Like it used to be a thing where like you couldn't get a game like this on anything but PC. But now you can get it anywhere. And those games will go on sale just like they do on Steam. They will go on sale on Nintendo Switch, and they will go on sale on your PlayStation Store or whatever. And I genuinely think that like we are living in a golden era of indie games. With the more sloppy, I don't want to say sloppy AAA games that arrive, the less I want to play them, to be honest. And there's amazing AAA games. Don't get me wrong. There's incredible AAA games that we all love.
100%.
But I think there's these indie darlings that like look like the indie games that you think when you say indie game that, I don't know. I wish it had more exposure, but it's kind of like the end all and the beginning of indie games. It's just, you never know how much exposure they're going to get. You just do it for the love of the game,
I feel very similarly. I feel like one thing that's changed so much about the indie community is the exposure that people get to different types of indie games, like with Reddit, with Twitter, with Instagram, with all these social media platforms where there's communities of people playing and sharing games like ours, honestly, like Video Game Book Club. There's so much. Every single day in one of the text channels, we've got people sharing game recommendations of these tiny indie games we've never heard of. But there's so many of them. There's so much more exposure now. And because of that exposure, indie games aren't as risky as they used to be. Like it used to be, it could be the case where it's like a financial investment for somebody to make a game by themselves or with a small team, promote it by themselves. Promoting it was really hard. Getting the word out about the game was really hard. And it was more risky. Whereas now, word of mouth is so powerful through all these different platforms, and just the level of exposure to these games is so much larger that it just feels like the developers have so much more latitude now to do exactly what they want to do. Like, for example, in this game, what did Pocket Trap want to do? They wanted to make a Game Boy Advance game to the absolute pinnacle, pushing that style, that platform to the absolute maximum that it's capable of. And that's exactly what they did. They wanted to make a love letter essentially to that style of game, and they were able to do that. And through putting their spin on it, through injecting their personality into it, they've got a banger on their hands, right? It's nominee for Indie Game of the Year. So I just feel like the changing video game landscape and the way that people share and the way that people talk about all these games that you may not have been exposed to, 10 years ago, has just given developers so much more freedom and so much more ability to just do what they want to do. You make the game you want to make, and then eventually it'll find its audience.
Yeah. And, also the bad side of this is there's a lot of games that won't get that exposure. So there's a ton of games that will be made that will probably never get the audience that they probably deserve. But that's always been the case with indie games. Like, there's more exposure now. So like Ben said, maybe it's less risky, but the risk is always there. So, that's just, again, like the pros and cons of an indie game. It's better now, but it probably, you also have to be a little realistic with like all these games. But, you make a game like Pipistrello and it's going to be a banger. Sure. Inferno Disco has another question. Clearly, the developers of Pipistrello were big fans of the Game Boy Advance. What was your favorite console growing up and the most memorable game from it?
It's funny. Growing up, I did not have a lot of exposure to video games. Like, I feel like my parents weren't anti-gaming, but they were like wary of gaming. So they were very like kind of, there was a lot of supervision on what kind of games I played and what consoles we had and stuff like that. The most formative console for me by far when I was growing up was the PlayStation 2. Mm-hmm. The variety of games that it had, the different types of experiences you could have on it, that the types of games that were able to be made changed so much throughout the lifespan of that platform, that's my favorite by far. And the game that was the most memorable for me was Ace Combat 4, which is a
banger,
a
dude.
jet fighter dogfighting game where you're in these fighter jets, you're having air to air combat, but there's also this crazy, like, super dramatic, like, radio communications going on as you're flying. There's like a story, you're doing all these missions, there's a story going on in the background. And it was the first time I had really experienced anything like that. I feel like the games I played before that were really basic, but it was like, it felt so dramatic. It felt so personal. It felt like, I don't know, just so epic in its scale. And it like blew, 6 or 7-year-old me's mind to just like play a game like that. So that's one that'll like stick with me forever.
That's such a good answer. And, we're the same age, give or take a couple months. And I have the same answer. The PlayStation 2, dude. The PlayStation 2 was everything. But for me, the game trilogy that I could never stop just running through and playing was the Jak trilogy. Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy, Jak 2, and Jak 3, baby. And they were the best games. I love those games so much, especially Jak 2 and Jak 3 were probably like, I think, hey, let's talk about it. Jak and Daxter Precursor Legacy is just basically like a 3D platforming game. And it was good. It was great. Even people loved it. And then the developer said, what if we made it actually fucking incredible? And they made Jak 2, and they gave Jak guns, and they gave him a demon form. And so Jak could become a demon crazy dude with like fangs, and he would absolute tear it up against the baddies, and he had guns. And then Jak 3, they were like, let's do that again, and we'll have an angel form, a demon form, 4 guns, and ATVs. And I was like, hell yeah, dude. I was the happiest boy in the land playing those games. Genuinely, they did a remaster or a re-release of the trilogy for the PlayStation 4, I'm pretty sure. And that's still, I think, the only way you can play these games. But the Jak trilogy is extremely underrated. Like, you talk about Ratchet and Clank, people love it. You talk about Sly Cooper, people love it. But to me, for sure, I think the Jak trilogy, Jak and Daxter, is the Sony's peak, and they should bring it back. We need Jak and Daxter back.
I love that. All right, I've got the next viewer question. This one's coming from Dilly Pig. Dilly Pig asks, if your rich auntie suddenly turned into a toy from your childhood that you could use to take down everyone in town, what toy would be your weapon?
Okay, so this is what an incredible question. Which aunt too? I have so many. Okay, for me, it would be canicas. And canicas are marbles. They're the call them canicas in El Salvador, but they're marbles. And we used to play a bunch of games when I was young, marble games. Obviously, there's the classic marble game where you're trying to hit the other marble with your marble. But we also used to put like toy soldiers or whatever, those like green toy soldiers, like in like a hallway in my house. And we would just like toss the marbles until, kind of like a bowling thing with the marbles. But I just feel like it could be so fun. It would be almost like a twin stick shooter where you would like throw a marble and then you could hit that marble with another marble to like kind of, at an angle, and you could hit like a different enemy, like that it's like hiding or something like that. It could be very puzzly, just like Pipistrello and the Cursed Yoyo. So yeah, I would take everyone down with a bag of marbles. I guess my aunt's soul would be split into 1,000 pieces though, and there's a little bit of each of her souls in all of my marbles. I don't know how that would work, but wow. Yeah. What about you?
I feel like my answer is honestly too similar to the yo-yo, but I used to be a frisbee boy. I used to play ultimate frisbee in high school, and I loved playing it. And I think for me, it would be the frisbee, the disc. just because like there's so many similarities to the yo-yo, to what we just played. Like you can throw it all kinds of different ways, you can bend it around, you can like do all sorts of crazy spin, all sorts of crazy moves on it. I feel like it would just like lend itself really well to the same type of like combat and like puzzles and movement of Pipistrello and the Cursed Yoyo. So for me, I think it would be the frisbee.
Dude, and then you toss that frisbee and you can't get it back, so you just go with the fist for a little bit. You're like pop, 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 and then you get it back finally.
I love it.
Ask me the next one. Is it mine?
Is it? Yeah.
Oh, you're right. It's mine. Okay, sorry. Okay, Joe has the next question. We're professionals, okay?
Yes.
And he asks, if you could harness the infinite energy of Pippi's dead ant to get instantly good at a single pursuit, what would it be?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways you could go with this. I feel like for me, it would be playing the piano, because I started learning how to play the piano late in life. And it's like, obviously there's a high skill ceiling, and there's a very steep learning curve to it. And, you know, I really enjoy it, but just to be able to have that ability to be like a concert pianist where you just sit down and you're just like all over the place, I think is like so unattainable for me based on like when I started and everything, that like it would be awesome.
Dude, fuck, that is such a good answer. I kind of want that answer from me.
But it's like, what would the instrument, like, would the soul be trapped in the piano, or like, I don't know how that, or maybe it's like a pair of gloves.
Yes, exactly. In the gloves, dude. Yeah, because that would suck, right? You would have to hog that piano everywhere. If it's, it's like, hey guys, I can only play in this piano. Actually, if you put keys in front of me, I cannot do it. Sorry, I'm cooked. That's a great answer. And actually, one of my 2026 things is that I want to get back on the piano. I played piano. I think we talked about it before. I played piano from like ages 8 to 16, and then I stopped, and I haven't touched the piano in 13 years. So I need to kind of get back to it. I'm going to get some keys. For me, it would be a insane like PlayStation, like DualShock controller. DualSense, I guess that's the latest controller. Like if all that delicious energy from my ants would be put into a controller, and I could be like absolutely cracked at like video game speed runs, and then I can become like a speed run dude. I have like the running joke in every stream that I do for Video Game Book Club that like I'm doing a regular speed run of all of the games that I play. Which is a silly joke, but I think it's funny, so I keep saying it. And yeah, I would love to be cracked at speedruns. I feel like the precise movement that people do to complete games in like 45 minutes when it's like a 100-hour game is kind of insane to me. It's obviously not only how good they are with a controller, but it's the memorization aspect of it. And I would love to be able to be good at that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Just like a totally cracked Mad Catz controller where you've got all the macros, all the like button repeating, everything. Yeah, that'd be awesome. All right, I've got the last viewer question, also from Joe. Joe, of course, always brings the heaters, always very introspective. Joe asks, what is your go-to ex-burgao order? And if you don't know, this is the burger chain from Don Moretti within Pipistrello and the Cursed Yoyo. So what is your go-to order?
All right. Patty. I mean, no. Don't start with the patty. I don't know why I said that. Okay, bottom bun.
Yeah.
A little bit of lettuce bed so that the lettuce can hold the juice and not the bun.
Correct.
Put the patty on top of that bad boy with cheese. The yellower, the better for me, because that means that it has the less lactose. So put an American slice on that thing. Caramelized onions on top. Then give me the classic tomatoes, pickles on top. I'm a tomato guy. I'm a pickle guy. I'm a lettuce guy. I like all the veggies. Then give me 2 bacons, 2 crispy. Ooh. Don't give me that soft shit because I bite into it and it doesn't break. Then I have to pull the bacon out of the burger, and that's not what I want. I want a bacon piece in each bite. Absolutely. Then you top it off with some delicious burger sauce. You can make it however you want. You can do the mayo ketchup, Worcestershire sauce situation, or you can do, whatever. Just give me a nice sauce on top. And then you put that thing. It has to be sesame seeded buns. I love sesame seeds on the buns. And yeah, I guess that's it. And then a side of fries. I'm not an onion ring guy. Give me curly fries or regular fries. No onion rings.
I love that. I will say I love your burger order. I am if I go to a burger place and on the menu there is a burger with blue cheese and jalapenos every time. Every time.
That's good.
I'm getting
Stinky
that burger
breath.
every single time. And I will say the one piece of ball knowledge, this is expert level elite ball knowledge that I'm about to drop on you.
Oh my God.
Salt your tomato. You need to salt the tomato.
You have to do
if
it,
you
guys.
have a plain tomato on your burger,
Spit
you're
it
missing
out.
out. You need to salt and pepper that bad boy, especially, and this is just additional ball knowledge that I'm dropping on everyone right now. A BLT with the salted tomato is the best sandwich in the world.
That's insane. That's insane take.
I'm telling you, with the mayo, with the salted tomato, with the bacon, it is so elite. Now, I will say, in terms of fast food restaurants, I am a fiend. I am a fiend for the French fries. I will eat as many French fries as you put in front of me, and I have to be very careful not to do that in my everyday life. I am an absolute fiend for ketchup and French fries, especially you put a little hot sauce in the ketchup.
Oh yes, have
so
to do
good.
it. You have to do it. If you don't hot sauce
So
your
good.
shit, we don't want it here.
So
and
that's
salt and
what
pepper your
I'm going
tomatoes.
for.
What's the
Correct.
best French fry? What's the best French fry? Name them.
Oh man,
Name
I mean,
them.
it just it just needs to be crispy. That's it. It can be anything, as long
crispy.
as it has the crisp.
Okay, so unsalted crispy French fries is what you want. You disgusting man.
No.
There we go.
The
See?
salt level needs to be correct.
Exactly. There we go. We need crispy and good salt level. If you give us soggy unsalted French fries and an unsalted and unpeppered tomato, we spit on you. We spit on you. Okay, great questions. Thank you, everyone who's sent your questions. Again, if you want to be part of this conversation, you can get us to get silly by submitting your questions in the VGBC Discord. I have questions for you, Bad Benny. Do you think Pocket Trap nailed the Game Boy Advance aesthetic? And a follow-up question to that. Do you think this art style helps or hinders the game's reach to a wider audience?
That is a good question. I think to address the first part, I do think they nailed it. I think they accomplished exactly what they wanted to set out to do. Like they nailed that Game Boy aesthetic in every sense of it, basically, and they pushed it kind of to the limits in some aspects. In terms of whether or not it helps or hinders the game's reach, I mean, yeah, like I do. Like I don't think every gamer wants to play a Game Boy game. We've moved so far past that to the point where if that's your jam, I think you're going to love it. If you're just like, the standard gamer, you maybe don't want to kind of go backwards like that. You may not, it might just not be your style anymore. So yeah, I think they totally nailed it. I have like so much respect for what they set out to do and how they executed it. But yeah, I mean, when you do something so niche like that, it is ultimately gonna hinder the wide reception it gets.
I completely agree. I think you said everything that I wanted to say. So I'm just gonna say about Benny, I love you. Okay, next question. even though the plot was super bizarre, would you remember this game more or less if the plot had been more normal? Type like, noble hero goes on noble quest type thing.
I don't know. Like to me, that is what it was. Like it was bizarre. It was bizarre, but it was very normie to me. Like the goal didn't change. There was no and the twists that they introduced wasn't that unexpected. It didn't change the experience that much. Like the goal from minute 5 in the game was get the 4 soul batteries and go bring your aunt back. The goal 21 hours into the game was get the soul batteries and get your aunt back. Like there was no deviation. The plot was just a straight line. It was just like that. So I don't know. Like I think it could have been more they could have done more with it, maybe, but like I don't even know how you do it for a game like this, for a GBA inspired game. I don't know if you need that. I don't know if you need a super crazy story. And they filled out so much of the game with optional areas and secrets and stuff to do. Like, you really don't even need that. So I don't know. I think it could have been more memorable. Like, the story itself could have been more memorable.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like, the game is still plenty memorable to me.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like I kind of agree. I feel like I wouldn't remember this game less or more if the plot was different, because what I remember is the crisp gameplay that they delivered, not like the bizarre story. I think the bizarre story made it interesting to me, and it made it different than like a regular game, I guess, if you want to call it that way. But it's not like I ride or die based on the plot, of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true. I've got a question for you, sir.
Oh.
And that is, if you could have another series or another genre of game remade in this sort of GBA inspired style, what would it be?
But I have a question for you back.
Oh, no.
So, are you saying I'll be able to play this remade version or demake maybe version of this game in like my Game Boy, or like on a Game Boy emulator and on the go in my phone, for example? Or are you saying like
I guess I don't know.
Or are you saying like they're gonna make this game on Steam and I can play it on Steam on my?
No, exactly like Pipistrello, like having like a faithful kind of remake.
My answer changes.
Answer however you answer however you want.
My man, if I could play Final Fantasy X in my pocket, if I could hear Titus laughing with Yuna in my Game Boy emulator on my phone, I would be the happiest boy in the land, dude. I want to play that game. That was going to be my second answer on the PlayStation 2 games, I played that game a million times, and honestly, I would never get tired of it. It has the best turn-based combat system, maybe second best to Shin Megami Tensei 5, but hey, that's okay. And it has such a fun puzzle mechanic to every temple that you go to. There's cool story, insane story even. And yeah, I would love to see little Titus, little Yuna, little Waka, little Lulu in little GBA aesthetics. And I'm just, running around Spira, just like doing all the things, and if I could like pull that up and just play portrait mode Game Boy style on my phone, brother, I would be so happy. So happy.
I can tell that would really complete.
But it has to be like, it has to be on a Game Boy. Like, if they remade that game, or like demake it in like GBA style and put it on Steam, and I can't play it on my phone, then what the fuck? Like, I'd be like, I can already play the game in regular mode and it looks amazing, But if it could be like GBA, that would be sick. A different game that I would love, that would be like demade. It has to be another like, I guess, turn-based game-ish. And I actually don't have the answer. I don't know. I was saying words to see if like a game would come up, but I'm still thinking about Final Fantasy X.
You were trying to auto-complete.
Yeah, I was trying to auto-complete there, and I kept pressing the middle word, and nothing was coming. Nothing was coming up. Because I just feel like I kind of gave you like a bad answer, but no,
that was a good answer.
Final Fantasy X.
I love that. That was a good answer. I would say like one for me would just be like, just like a Souls-like, because I feel like we've gotten so many Souls-likes in kind of like a top-down or like maybe 2D-ish style, but just like one kind of so faithfully redone in this style, with all of the aesthetics and like all the combat and abilities and stuff, I think would be awesome for sure.
So how would you do that? Like, it would be top down, or it would be like 2D platform?
I don't think so. I think it would be 2D, and it would just all be kind of lateral, and you would have to dodge and zip around the boss arena kind of to the best of your ability. I don't know. It would be hard. It would be hard to make like a proper Souls-like in that format, but I think it would be awesome.
It would be. Which Souls game would you want to see? Like actual FromSoft Souls game would you want to see in GBA format?
I mean, my favorite is Sekiro, so I feel, and Sekiro might be harder.
Stop talking about Sekiro for 1 second, dude. Oh my god!
You just asked me what my favorite is, man. You knew the answer.
I did.
You knew the answer. That's your
answer.
Fault.
Yeah, I did. I knew it. I just wanted to hear you say Sekiro.
I feel like it would also be easier with Sekiro because it's so parry based that it maybe works a little bit better in the 2D format. But yeah, that'd be my answer.
I would love a Dark Souls rematch, like Dark Souls 1 on the
Yeah.
GBA, because I'm a Dark Souls 1 guy. I'm a
Yeah, that'd be
truther.
sick.
Okay, Ben, I think there's no more questions. I think we have done all the questions for Pipistrello and the Cursed Yoyo. So the last thing that we are left to do in this Video Game Book Club episode is for you and me to give the verdict on what we think about Pipistrello and the Cursed Yoyo. So why don't you start and give me your 30-second review of the game?
I will start, and I feel like ours are going to be very different because of the different experiences we had with the game, the different ways we like approach them. I was like, when I started playing Pipistrello, I was originally not really meshing with it. Like the first couple hours of the game for me just weren't really landing super well. But as we got more abilities, as the combat got more complex, as the movement puzzles got more complex, I really was enjoying it. I wish kind of I had more time to explore the world and do some more of the optional content. But I just didn't have the opportunity to. But I really enjoyed the game. I really enjoyed everything I did in the game. Like we talked about, I think the story could have been more memorable, but it ultimately maybe isn't that necessary for this type of experience. For me, just like based purely on my experience with it, I would say it's like a B- to like a solid B. But again, I think it's a great game, and I just like didn't get to experience a lot of it. So it's on me. But that was just the experience I had.
I loved Pipistrello and the Cursed Yoyo. I think this is a game that I was looking forward to playing, and then when I started it, I knew that this was going to be one of my favorite games of 2025. I think the movement mechanics are probably the crispest movement mechanics that we've played in 2025, especially in VGPC. It felt so good, and I loved the feeling of not knowing if I could make that next ledge. And then in the middle of my movement sequence, I found out, yes, I can make it. And that feeling was so good. There was also other moments where I was like, I can't make it. And I was right. I couldn't make it, which is just as funny to me. I think the combat was really good. I think it was augmented for me because of like the difficulty that I kind of set myself. And it was really fun to overcome that challenge that I put on myself. But I think that the game is hard enough. And balanced well just in regular difficulty. I think the story is weird, but I think you don't play games like this for the story. You play it for the gameplay, and you play it and you complete it because of how much it gives you back. Based on the mechanics, on the progression system of the game, you are incentivized to explore everywhere that you can go to so that you can get more gold and actually complete your progression and not be hindered by your own contracts that you want. And that loop felt just so good, and I couldn't stop playing it, to be honest, which is why I put 21 hours. And even after I beat the boss, I did more things after, which honestly, sometimes for Video Game Book Club, I finish the game and I'm like, that's it, So this one, like, I still wanted to play more. And if I didn't have all of this busyness in my life, I would probably be playing more of this game. So I'm giving Pipistrello and the Cursed Yoyo an A, a solid A. Yeah, that's me. That. Stamp it.
I love that.
Chapow. Okay, Ben. So you picked a game before. What game did you pick last month? I forgot.
I haven't picked you. So you picked Pipistrello and the Cursed Yoyo. Before that, I picked.
Oh my god, Hades 2.
Hades 2.
Guys, don't forget about Hades 2. Guys, come on.
We play so many games.
We do play so many.
And then before that was Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, which was the community vote. So now we are back to the community vote. The community has spoken. JP, what is our game of the month in January?
Game of the month for January 2026 is Lies of JP, dude. It's Lies of P. It's here and it's coming with a bang. We actually, there was a insane community person, an insane person who said, if this game wins the Video Game Book Club Game of the Month poll, which we had like 40 something votes on it, I will personally purchase the game plus the DLC for the two goodest boys of the land, Benjamin Tizzletubes and JP
which is super
Gomez.
not necessary.
Which
by
is
the way.
incredibly not necessary.
Not
Please,
necessary.
you don't have to do that
Do
at
not do
all.
that.
And it won. And so I just want to say, Lurk, thank you. You're like,
Yes.
honestly, Ben and I are both like super grateful for it. Thank you so much. And
For
we
sure.
have been, we started the quest that Pinocchio is on to save the world, I guess, or something like that. And I think Liza P is going to quickly become one of my favorite games of all time. I don't think I've been introduced to a game and love it so much, so strongly than Liza P. Even Pipistrello, which I give an A, didn't really get to that level. I could not stop playing Liza P. I played 4 hours straight the first time I played it. Like I couldn't stop playing it, and I'm just so excited for it.
We are starting 2026 out with a banger. 2026 is going to be an awesome year for Video Game Book Club. If you couldn't tell, JP and I were experimenting with a little bit different of a format this episode. We wanted to focus a little bit less on the story of the game and kind of just walking through that, and a little bit more on our thoughts and our opinions and, you know, just our banter back and forth as we went through the game. So let us know what you think about that. There's so much fun stuff in store for Video Game Book Club in the coming year. We have the Buenale Game Awards coming at the middle of the month, middle of January. Be on the lookout, join the Discord, and be on the lookout for the community votes for the community categories. We are so excited for that, and it's going to be an awesome year. So like, subscribe, follow us on all our socials so you can stay updated with everything. It is going to be the year of Video Game Book Club. You heard it here first.
Oh, I'm so excited to be present and experience the year of Video Game Book Club. I'm so pumped. Benny, you're my dog, dude. You're the best dude in the world. And everyone who listens, thank you so much for being here with us once more. Another month, another game completed, and we don't stop. We will be playing Liza P the whole month, and honestly, it'll probably take us every single day of January to complete this monster game, because it might take us 50 hours plus to complete it.
I need to lock in.
We need to lock in. We need to lock in. We'll see if I beat the game first or if Ben beats the game first. And if you want to know if we have done that, then definitely join the Discord and be on the lookout for our streams, because we will be streaming the game. I think I will probably try to stream 100% of the game. So yeah, come check us out. But that will do it for us today. Thank you so much for being here again. Like, subscribe to the thing. Send this to 500 of your closest friends. I'm sure they will enjoy it. And that's it from us. So thank you very much. And bye.